What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. My name is Flip.
I'm Element.
And we get together every Sunday to catch up on our favorite TV shows, movies, and all things in Asian pop culture entertainment.
Along with the gods.
The two worlds. Let's do it. We're going to give you 3 reasons why, if you have not seen this movie yet, you really should. Although it came out in 2017, I have no idea why we never saw this movie. Just no idea. I was bored one day.
We rarely watch Hulu. And so I guess like one day you were like, what's on Hulu?
I was actually just browsing through Netflix, couldn't find anything, browsing through Amazon, and then I went to Hulu, and then I came across this. I saw the trailer and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this movie? It came out in 2017. There are 2. We're only reviewing the first one, Two Worlds, and I think it's really worth it. It's one of the best movies I have actually seen this year.
At least for Korean media, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this one flew under the radar for us, but it was such a joy, such a pleasure to watch, especially for me. I don't know how you felt about it, but it was just a really good movie, wholesome, enjoyable, and fun.
Absolutely. I had some preconceived notions about it, reading the synopsis and reading the plot. And then when I started watching it, it was a whole different movie than I expected.
Missing the...
If you're unfamiliar with this movie, it's about Kim Ja-hoon, who dies unexpectedly as he's trying to rescue people from a burning building. And it goes from there into the afterlife.
Yeah, so he kind of gets up thinking that he is still alive, but he is met by these 3 guardians who are supposed to guide him through 7 trials in the afterlife just to see, because he's a paragon, that means that you have lived a wholesome life, a good person, and they're trying to see if he goes through these 7 trials to be reincarnated.
Reason number 1, the trials. Like, this is one of the most interesting things I found about this movie. It was an interesting take on a Buddhist concept,
yes.
which I'm unfamiliar with, from a fundamental standpoint. And so, being judged 7 times, or at least going through 7 trials,
yes,
and having it kind of displayed in a way that you're kind of like watching Suits. You're kind of watching like, a courtroom drama.
Yeah, something
almost.
like that, yeah.
So it's like he goes to the afterlife and he's met with these 3 guardians, but they're actually like presented to you as attorneys.
Yeah.
And they have to be like, they have to defend him in court. And,
yes.
And that was an interesting piece of that movie.
And the prosecutors are obviously trying to prevent him to be reincarnated. They have their own dubious objectives in this movie. But the 3 guardians, who are like super powerful warriors from the past, except for one, who is this really cute girl, Chung-duk, which is like super adorable, but she seems to be kind of like the... if you're going to...
The clairvoyant, almost.
She's the clairvoyant, but she's also like the paper pusher of the law industry. The kind of... just the ones that kind of makes the schedule. The clerical work, I guess you would say. But it's really, really amazing. I mean, the way they defend him, the way they kind of use this karma mirror to kind of present... the defense against the prosecutors, like, this guy does not deserve to be reincarnated because he lied.
Yeah, the way you would go about like a courtroom drama in this fashion is very interesting because it's very metaphysical, like, as in it is being taken place in the afterlife, but all of their arguments are very metaphysical in that way, where it's like they're going through his life and, digging into the past and the motivations behind what he did in his life.
Yes.
And so like the prosecutors will talk about like something he did in the beginning of his life, and then the defense will say, oh, but there's all these millions of reasons and the context behind why he did it, and then the judgments are being based off of that stuff.
Yeah, and even the hell of let me try to remember what some of them were. And through these 7 trials are like these stages, right? It's like, it reminds me of Dante's Inferno, where you have
7 hells.
Exactly. Is it the 7 hells for Dante Inferno? The hell of indolence, where he is like floating on this kind of raft where he's being judged by the goddess of indolence, I guess, and the hell of murder, the hell of impiety, of fealty, or something along those lines, and especially the hell of violence, where the visual masterpiece really comes into play. And that's reason number 2, visual masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, first, like, you're kind of taken aback by the fact that this is like a afterlife piece presented as a courtroom drama, and then you find out these 3 guardians, or at least 2 of them, have really wicked powers, and this guy's fighting with his sword and it comes apart, and then like there's all these like hellion creatures that attack them because there's a vengeful spirit, and just the action from there just goes from 0 to 100 really quickly.
It takes you from set piece to set piece, but like the last time I saw visual effects like this was The Man Called Hero, or A Man Called Hero. It was a Chinese movie that had 3 parts to it. It was just like takes you from different dimensions and different realms, and they have all these crazy mystical powers with their swords. This one is just in the same vein when you know, Captain Lim kind of just like puts his hand out and the sword like lights on fire, and then Hae-won Kwak, whatever his name is, Hae-won Muk, whatever his name is, like he just has, like, as you said, he has 2 swords and he puts it together. It's like a double lightsaber. They can shoot fireballs, they can jump like Jumper, and I would just say the effects were really, really well done.
Yeah, the last time I seen something like this would be like Man of Steel, Matrix, kind of like a combination of the 2, or like Hancock. They did so like Gang Lim, the captain of the Guardians, when he's fighting a vengeful spirit, like they're just like speeding through the air and like breaking the sonic barrier, and like, you know, you get Man of Steel vibes from that. And when Hae-won Muk is fighting with his sword, you're getting all kinds of like Storm Rider vibes. You're getting all kinds of like
Storm Rider,
you know, superhero sword and martial arts flicks, and just the way they handled all of the effects, top notch.
Geez, Storm Rider is a good one to really compare this to, because I think it's a little bit more like Storm Rider than A Man Called Hero. Well done.
Thank you. Reason number 3, it's a story about forgiveness.
Yeah, it seems like the way they reveal Mr. Kim's life as they go through all of his stages and the trials, they make it seem like he's not worthy of reincarnation. Yeah. But then they just reveal this story that unravels as you progress through the movie, that there's more than it seems, right? Like it's a person going through his struggles and his deeds out of necessity. In one of the trials, he says he does it for money, but then in the Mirror of Karma, or the Karma of Mirror, they showcase why he does it for money. It's because it's done because he's so poor, his family is so poor, he's had to leave just to make enough money to support his mom, who is ailing and who is sick, and his brother. And at the end, it's just really, really wholesome. Made me cry a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the familial aspect of the stories will draw out those heartstrings, or tug on those heartstrings and draw out those
definitely
tears.
Tugged on those heartstrings for me.
It kind of teaches you, or has this moral where when he's going through these trials, they're looking at his life from a lens that is very black and white, and there's no gray area. And the defense does a really great job of using the Mirror of Karma and going through context, going through other people's perspectives, the perspective of the mother, the perspective of his brother, to show how context really plays into all of his decisions that he's made through his life.
Right. And his brother, who becomes a vengeful spirit, actually goes through his own journey, even though it was covered just a little bit, and that kind of takes you into the sequel of this movie. But that was a story of forgiveness too, because he was unjustly murdered, or unjustly killed, I guess. It
was an untimely demise.
It was an untimely demise.
Yeah.
Ultimately, in the end, Mr. Kim just wants to see his mother one last time so that he can be forgiven for all of the things that he's done in his life.
Absolutely, and this movie kind of reminds me of, or the closest thing that I can compare it to, it's a long-form version of those really, really heart-wrenching Asian commercials you'll see every once in a while, where a guy, you know, is homeless and he visits the shop every day, and the guy gives him a small bowl for free, and then, you know, after a couple of years, the guy that was homeless and was getting those free bowls comes by when the other person is like sick and has to get like some treatment in the hospital. The guy that he helped earlier is now rich and pays for his medical bills. And there are all kinds of like Asian commercials like this where there's like a huge payoff of paying it forward and being kind to others. And this is just like a movie version. And I thought that really tied everything together really well.
That is interesting. It has all the feels that you're looking for in a movie. It's got action, adventure, amazing visual effects, and those feelings of emotional heartstring pulling. So guys, let us know what you thought about this movie. I'm sure you've already seen it. We know it's a little bit old, but leave your comments in the section below. Leave a like. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.